Hi, my name is Lisa Dodson, inventor of ServeMaster. Today I want to give you a really easy system for improving your serve. Whether you're a beginner or whether you've been playing for a long time or whether you're a very advanced player, you can always improve your serve. So the key to serving is relaxation. And so what we want to do is we want to let the weighted end of the ServeMaster do the work for you. If you have one, then you can follow along if possible. And so what we're going to do in the beginning is we're going to just assure that you have the correct grip. So we're going to use the grip marker on here, and I'm a right-hander, so I'm going to put my hand on this V. See, there are two V's here, and my hand is about the size where to go in between. What's important is the right-left direction, not so much the up-down. But there's another point, is we want to make sure that the hand is hanging off, the butt of the hand is hanging off the racket. My pinky is on, that's why this flared end is on here, to help us hold on. But the meaty part of my hand is hanging off. Okay, so the first thing we're going to learn to do is to actually just set up and feel what the throw feels like. So here we go. I'm just going to do a normal setup. I am at a 45-degree angle to the net. My net post is over here, and I'm going to set up with my tricep parallel to the ground, my elbow back to the back fence, and my hand back here behind my head in a closed position. Closed meaning it's facing my head, it's not turned up to the sky. That's open, this is closed, okay? So here we go, we're in this position, and you guys are all gonna need to check yourself because you think you're like this, but your grip's a little off, your elbow's saggy, sometimes it's here, see how that's too high and it's facing out. What we're looking for is parallel to the ground, elbow back, hand behind the head, basically. So I'm not, back scratch is a really bad term because to get this down my back, I have to actually raise my elbow, and I don't want to do that. I want to start part way. There's further that I can drop, but that happens later in the serve. So this is our start position. My hand is going to be out towards the right net post, and I'm going to practice. My toss is always going to be coming from the shoulder, and you notice that my hand is flat, my fingers are flat, and my thumb's over the top of the invisible ball, okay? So it looks like this from the front, and it's going to look like this from the back. Okay, so that's a good start position. I want you to get used to feeling what this is like. So all we're going to do is very easily just get the weighted end moving. We don't want to be using the hand and the muscles. We want to get the weighted end moving. So I'm not going to worry about my toss right now. I'm just going to swing up. Okay? And I'm going to get this thing moving. And you notice I'm swinging across, and I'm going to catch the cord on the left side of my body. Because later on we have to build in what the toss arm's job is. Okay, and if you can see it here on the camera, watch my hand and wrist as I'm approaching contact point. It automatically turns over. That's called pronating. That's critical to any serve. Whether it's flat, slice, kick, you're gonna be pronating. Action. So once you can kind of go through that motion and feel sort of comfortable, there's a big learning curve to this for a lot of people. Then you can start with the next phase. The next phase is, we're gonna just call it the downswing. So with the ServeMaster, you can do any kind of downswing. You can do a classic, which is a bigger drop. You can do an abbreviated, right, which is a little shorter on the drop. You can do an upswing, right? You can do all of these things, but right now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get you to relax and learn sort of what it's supposed to feel like here, no matter what kind of downswing you're taking. What we want to do is we want to just go from the shoulder. I've got a very relaxed grip on this, but it is the correct grip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing back and forth. All right? Now that looks easy. I'm going in a 180-degree arc, and you notice that my ball end is traveling on a very straight line, and I'm letting my shoulder do what it wants to do. That's the important factor. Most people don't do that. They want to go like this. They want to turn their hand. They want to twist their wrist. And what we want to do is we want to let the arm roll in the shoulder socket. So if I'm really relaxed, we're going to see that, yes, my hand stays closed, but I'm not forcing it closed. I'm not going like this and turning it, right? I hope you can see that. I'm not turning and forcing, and I'm also not opening like this. See my hand? That's opening. I just want to let it go from my shoulder. Boom. And my hand is just rolling a little bit. It's not staying perfectly closed, but it's closed enough for what I want to do. So we're going to work on that. You got to go back and forth a bunch of times. We're going to see a lot of this kind of stuff, like you got a tuna on the end of the line, right? We want to learn to relax. That happens when you're trying to force it. Your grip is too tight, and this thing is going to go all over the place. Stage 3 is going to be going back to stage 2, and then all you're going to do is let it plunk down your back. And I want you to check yourself out and see, is my tricep parallel to the ground? Is my elbow back to the fence? Is my hand in a closed position? Okay, that's it. So we get used to this part. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go, right? Now I'm comfortable. I'm not even worrying about the toss hand right yet. Pretty good position. So we take step 2, step 3, and we add step 1, which was the throw, and we're all set. So in order to get those things to gel together, you need to drive your right hip before you go to throw. That's the missing piece that most people have a problem with on their serve. It causes the hitch. That's really most of the reason that the hitch is there, not the only reason. So if I keep my hip here, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to throw. What we're looking to do on the serve is to unwind from the ground up. It comes from, I'm a right-hander, so most of my turning force from the ground is coming from my right hip, and my turning force from the upper body is coming from my tossing arm, my left arm, okay? Because my right hip is going to push forward by means of my foot and my lower leg, and my torso is going to start to go because I am pulling this close into my body, and it's going to finish over on the left-hand side. So this arm is going to do this action. So we don't need that for right now, but that's just sort of an overview. So when we go to put this together, it's going to look something like this. Watch my hip, because it's going to go forward first. Here we go. I'm putting the serve together. I'm putting together part 1, part 2, right? Part 3. And now it's going to be a total serve. Here we go. So you notice when I drove this hip forward, my right hip, look at my foot and my knee, my right foot and my right knee. There they go. My left leg's pushing up. My right leg is pushing more forward, but it is pushing up. Right? There we go. That's kind of what it's going to look like. And if I don't rotate this hip forward, it's going to look like this. And you're going to get hit in the back. So that's your key. If this thing is touching you in the back, you're not driving your right hip forward early enough. If it's hitting you in the shins, you are not rotating forward at all, right? So this happens, right? You notice my feet are still here. I need to pick up the heel of my right foot and put it flat towards the back fence in order to get my hip rotation. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Basic stuff that's going to build every serve and make every serve better. Those points are all valid. So we want to have a progression here where I'm going to have you take, well, we'll start with 2 fingers. Normally I would start with 1 finger, but we'll go with 2. So you notice I have my grip is in the right direction, but I'm only holding onto the racket with 2 fingers. I'm right there. So you notice that my other 2 fingers are curled out below. Right? So a reason for this is you want a really loose, floppy grip, because when we're serving, we want a relaxed racket that's going on a path. We don't want to control it. We want it on a controlled path, but we don't want to control it with our muscles. We want to get racket head speed. Okay? So we're going to use this 2-finger method. I'm now going to go through my same system. I'm going to go for my throw, right? That's it. You notice I'm just letting the racket head go over. The racket head is back here, and it's going to go all the way across 180 degrees or more than 180 degrees. Well, we'll say that just to be safe. And you notice my hand isn't going very far. My hand is only going this far. My hand's only traveling about 18 inches at the most. So if I can get this action, I'm golden. I'm on the way to either throwing really well or serving really well. Okay, so we go through that action. Then we're just with the 2 fingers, I want you to do this. And notice what your racket head does. It's not staying edge here down to the ground. because look at how uncomfortable that is for my shoulder. What I want to do is I want to let my shoulder roll a little bit. My racket face is still closed, but my shoulder is doing what it wants to do. Don't try and force it to do anything else. Third is take it here and we're going to plunk down the back. Just let it go. Just let it flop. Boom. And tricep parallel to the ground, elbow back to the fence, hand closed behind my head. And then we're going to put it all together by driving the hip. Remember, if I don't drive my hip, I get something that looks like this, which is not terrible, but it's not the best that you can do. And what we want to do is, look, I'm driving my hip, and the racket head is really lagging behind. It's really staying back there. Whoops, the racket head is really lagging. The racket head is really lagging behind. It's really staying behind me. My lower body is going first. You notice my arm is pulling out of the way, and we're going to finish over here. So another clarifying point on the serve. A lot of people think that you drive and you catch the racket at the end, which is not correct. And I have actually said that in my lifetime as a teaching pro, because we want the person to be going in the direction of their left hand, which is on the opposite side of the body. We want them going in that direction with their racket. So we use that as a cue point, right? We use this as, okay, the hand is over here, and we want you to swing to your hand. We want you to swing in the direction of your hand, but we don't want you to catch the racket. That just stops racket head speed, all right? So what we're looking for is the hand, the racket head, the racket going in the direction of your tossing hand. So it's going to look something a little bit more like this. So you notice that my hand stops here. My hand is stopping here. My toss hand is all the way back here. Now I'm going to grab onto the racket and continue on. So it looks again like this. And then I'm going to grab on and go. We do not drive the racket all the way to finish, because you notice my wrist didn't do anything here. I'm going to drive it all the way to the finish. That slows down the racket head speed. What I want is for this racket head to travel, and it's going to go in this more than 180-degree arc. And now I have other stuff to do, right? I got to get ready for my next shot, so that the hand is not going to drive all the way behind your back to finish. So our progression then goes from 2 fingers to 3 fingers, the pinky's off, and then all of your fingers on the racket, really, really light, so you could just pull this right out. And go through your motion. You can't do this enough, where you want to feel this is really loose. So mine is going to look pretty similar when I'm doing this action to when I'm doing, it's going to look pretty similar to this, right? And actually it's probably almost identical. So I can practice every part of my serve. I didn't really concentrate on the toss arm very much in this short video, but you notice that when I'm going through my motion, whether it's with the racket or the ServeMaster, I'm making sure that my toss arm is completely straight, my fingers are flat, and my toss is coming from the shoulder. And my toss arm as a righty is going to go in the direction of the right net post. So here we go, right? It's going to look something like that. So you notice that I'm holding it up long and strong, is what I call it, because your toss arm does 3 main things for you. It tosses the ball, or lifts the ball, it puts it in the right place, right? It sets your shoulder angle. So you notice here, my left shoulder is higher than my right shoulder. And it pulls out of the way very, very quickly, or pulls down and pulls you around is probably a better way of saying it, so that your backside can come through quickly. The faster this side gets out of the way, the faster this side can come through. So my arm is going to pull me up and around, and since I'm rotating, it's going to finish over on the left side. Whoops. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there's so many other things involved with the serve, but I want to keep this simple, get you through the 4-step process, give you a little bit more information, and encourage you to contact me if you need help. You can look at the website, my email address is on there. You can email me problems, you can email me a short video of your serve and of you using your ServeMaster, and I'll do an analysis for you, no problem. Okay, good luck.